Life here with your pro-life news break. An analysis of more than 800,000 insurance claims filed by women following chemical abortion has found that 1 in 9 women suffer adverse events serious enough to send them to the hospital for emergency care. The analysis performed by the Ethics and Public Policy Center, using records from 2017 through 2023, revealed that the chances of an adverse event are 22% higher than the 0.5% chance the Federal Food and Drug Administration reports in its assertion that deadly abortion pills are safe for women. This study is the statistical equivalent of a Category 5 hurricane hitting the prevailing narrative of the abortion industry, said Ethics and Public Policy Center President Ryan Anderson. The findings prompted a coalition of national pro-life groups to call on the FDA, the Department of Health and Human Services, and Congress to revert to pre-2017 laws governing the use of the two-drug chemical regimen that is now responsible for more than 63% of all abortions in the U.S. While the coalition said it is working toward the total elimination of chemical abortion, its first priority is to once again ensure that women receive the drugs only from a physician and only after an ultrasound, that they return for a follow-up visit 2 weeks after the abortion, and that the pills can only be used through 7 weeks of pregnancy. It's now legal through 10 weeks, and we know that mothers are using them even later than that. And currently the pills can be sent through the mail without mothers ever seeing a doctor. The Texas Senate yesterday voted 31-0 to clarify for doctors and lawyers exactly when abortion can legally be performed in the state. The legislation now being considered in the House would clarify that abortion is allowed if a woman's life is in danger, even if death is not imminent. We don't want to have any reason for hesitation, said Senator Brian Hughes, who sponsored the measure and wrote the Texas Heartbeat Bill enacted in 2021. A second law protecting most babies from abortion went into effect after the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade in 2022. That law has become the subject of multiple lawsuits from mothers who said they were turned away from hospitals because they were not in imminent danger of dying. Pro-lifers in the state believe doctors refused care in an effort to overturn the state's strict abortion laws. Another law on its way to passage in Texas would increase the penalties to anyone manufacturing, mailing, or delivering chemical abortion pills to anyone in the state. Missouri voters passed a pro-abortion constitutional amendment last November that allowed abortion to resume in the Show Me state. But a bill close to passage in the state legislature would give voters a chance to overturn the pro-abortion amendment and reenact laws protecting babies. Representative Brian Seitz, a pro-life Republican, introduced the resolution, saying it would provide Missouri voters with better options at the ballot box. HJR 73 is not about perfection. It's about doing what we can to present voters with a viable option that isn't hidden behind slick marketing campaigns, Seitz said. In a surprise move, abortion-friendly Washington state slashed $8.5 million from the Abortion Access Project in the state's budget. The 55% reduction marks the largest cut to abortion access funding in the state's history. The Abortion Access Project was established to address a 23% increase in abortion following the overturning of Roe v. Wade and the establishment of a law protecting most babies from abortion in Idaho, which shares a border with Washington. The budget reduction is seen as an acknowledgement that even the liberal taxpayers in Washington state do not want to pay for abortion. A parental notification law long on the books in Nevada but never enforced because it was found to be unconstitutional during the Roe era could finally have gone into effect this week. But now a federal judge has ruled that the block on the law will continue, so Planned Parenthood will have more time to ask the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals to keep the block in place while a legal challenge continues. Abortions in Nevada are legal until 24 weeks, even for underage girls whose parents remain completely in the dark. Planned Parenthood in Omaha is the only abortion business selling surgical procedures in Nebraska, but a news story this week sheds light on the conditions at the Killing Center, where understaffing reportedly is causing Planned Parenthood to ignore laws and safety procedures. A young woman who recently resigned after working as a nurse at the center told the Flatwater Free Press that a surgical abortion required a physician, 2 nurses, and other support staff, but that she had been asked on more than one occasion to overlook that requirement. At least once, she was the only nurse in the room. While Planned Parenthood denies the nurse's assertion, she has since resigned, as has the only other nurse trained to assist with abortions. Only 3 procedures have taken place since mid-March. And while that's good news, it's tempered by the fact that chemical abortion accounts for 82% of abortions in the state. Lawmakers in Iowa sent a bill to Governor Kim Reynolds that calls for students in 5th through 12th grades to be shown age-appropriate videos about the development of the human being in the womb, beginning at fertilization. Videos produced by abortion sellers or advocates would not be allowed in classrooms. And finally, as federal lawmakers look for ways to cut $1.5 trillion from the national budget, Fox News Digital reported yesterday that House Republicans are in discussions about ending federal funding of abortion providers like Planned Parenthood. We are working on a lot of different options, but that's being discussed, said Kentucky Representative Brett Guthrie, chairman of the House Energy and Commerce Committee. House Speaker Mike Johnson also said this week that Republicans would target big abortion in the budget reconciliation process, as requested by national pro-life groups like Priests for Life and grassroots activists across the country. That's some of what's making news this week. Thank you for tuning in. If you would like to keep up with our press releases and commentary, go to prolife.press or scan the barcode on your screen. I hope you have your big hat ready for the Kentucky Derby tomorrow, and let's go Knicks. When I see you again, the Catholic Church could have a new pope. Until then, as always, please remember that life is the only choice.
Every life is a gift. Every heartbeat is a miracle. But right now, the most innocent among us are in danger. Priests for Life is on the front lines, speaking truth, offering healing, and building a world where every child is welcomed and loved. Join us in this sacred mission to end abortion. Stand with life. Stand with Priests for Life. Scan the QR code right now and help save unborn babies today. God bless.
So many companies support abortion, but today you can make sure that with every call you make, you are supporting the unborn. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless carrier. They have partnered with Priests for Life and donate a portion of their earnings to our work. We invite you to switch to them at patriotmobile.com/unborn. Keep your number and your phone and get the same coverage you have now, but also get the peace of mind knowing your every call supports life.
Hello, I'm Sam Brownback, and I've worked alongside Father Frank Pavone for many years on the cause of life. He's a true champion, and the Priests for Life have been wonderful champions of this great cause, of the cause of human dignity of every human at every phase of life, from the very first moment of conception until its natural death. The human species, the human person, each and every one are full of dignity, priceless in value, and Priests for Life stand for that. Join their work with them, work alongside them in this battle, this incredible battle, this fantastically important battle for life in the United States. We've got to win this fight. Join them.
Hi, everyone. I'm Father Donald Calloway, and I want to really encourage you to find out about Priests for Life. You know, I'm a convert to Catholicism. Many people know my story of being a really bad guy in my youth and causing a lot of problems and living for things of the world. But then God came into my life and got me with the divine 2x4, I call it, with the truth. And one of those aspects was the sanctity of human life. And I have to say that when I had my conversion, received my call, and went into seminary, there was one person in particular that I looked to, and still to this day, still look to him for guidance, because he's such an authority, he speaks with such conviction and love, and that is Father Frank Pavone. Was so inspired by him in my days in seminary, went to some of his talks, especially in the March for Life in Washington, D.C., where I lived for about 6 years. And now as a priest, this is a true brother for me, a man who is truly a prophet in many ways in our times, right there on the cutting edge of this cause for life. And there really is no greater cause, because if we're not defending babies, what are we doing? This is human life. This is God's gift to humanity, the life of a child. And so I cannot encourage you enough to find out about Priests for Life, get involved, support them by your prayers financially, and pray for Father Pavone. He's in the crosshairs, of course, because of what he's doing. The devil is not going to be happy about what he's doing. And I pray for my brother. He is a good man, and he is doing great work. And so, my friends, please, please, please support this wonderful organization, because we need to champion human life.